Hi there, Sherry Schreiber of GettingBetter.com with some naked truth for you. This is a heavy little video today. I think it might be short, but it's kind of heavy. So brace yourselves. I'm going to talk about love today. Real love, true love, genuine love, which very few people ever engage in or get to experience. And that's just sad. That's just fucking sad to me. I've had some really wonderful, loving, nourishing, mutually respectful, admiring relationships in my life. I've been really fortunate. But it isn't just luck. It's really more a factor, I think, in hindsight, of being extraordinarily discerning. Because the reality is that from a very early age, I trusted my gut. I trusted my instincts. I trusted my senses to guide me and help me discern who was trustworthy, who I could actually give my heart over to for safekeeping. And this, of course, takes a long time to discern. I mean, there's no such thing as love at first sight. There's infatuation, there's attraction, but there's no such thing as love at first sight. That's just for fools. You could meet somebody and have a sense, maybe this person has the qualities and characteristics that I hold dear and highly value and treasure. But love and trust and respect are all characteristics, qualities, if you will, in a person that have to be earned over a considerable amount of time. There's no such thing as I love you and I don't really know you well. It doesn't exist. Over the years, I've been working in my consulting practice. I had a number of people who call me and say, I'm a love addict. I'm a love addict. No such thing exists, my darlings. No such thing exists. There's no such thing as love addiction. There's addiction to the exhilaration you might feel when you meet somebody new and they're hot, they're sexy, they seem really into you. And you might feel infatuation with that person. But that's not love. It has nothing to do with love. What it really has much more to do with is that under their adoring gaze, you get to fall a little in love with yourself. That's basically my definition of infatuation. And you can go to my glossary page online at gettingbetter.com and you can look up infatuation, and that's exactly what it's going to explain to you. It has nothing to do with love for somebody else. Nothing whatsoever. It's the exhilaration, the excitement you feel when they're sitting across a lunch or dinner table from you and looking at you like you're the main course. And God, it's exhilarating, it's flattering, it's wow. And because they're mirroring you this way, they're looking at you with these fascinated eyes, you feel a little fascinating. and you're able to fall a little in love with yourself. But real love, true love, genuine love takes considerable time to establish and develop and grow. And if love doesn't grow, it starts to die. It's like a shark, you know. I hear that sharks have to keep moving even in their sleep. Otherwise, they drown or die or something. I don't know if it's true. I just heard it. So maybe it's true, maybe it's not. But if a shark doesn't stay in motion, even when they're sleeping, I understand that they can die. Well, a relationship is the same way. Relationship is like a person. If a person stops growing and developing, we stagnate and we start dying. Spiritually, emotionally, we start dying. We become bored with ourselves. What an awful condition to have. So a relationship must keep growing and developing too, in order for it to thrive. Otherwise, it starts stagnating and dying. If you marry somebody one day, and it's because you think you really know that person, you really love that person, and maybe you're in your 20s or 30s, so maybe to that extent of your own development, you think you can know them, or at least what they present to you, you think you know. But if you don't grow alongside that person independently, and they're not growing alongside you independently, that relationship's going to stagnate and die. Have you ever noticed that, here I go off on a tangent here, pardon me. Have you ever noticed that when people get divorced after years and years of being together, that, wow, some of them drop a lot of weight? They almost always, especially for women, they change their hairstyle, their hair color, whatever. They start wearing different makeup. They start dressing differently. They throw their old wardrobe out and they get a whole new wardrobe. Well, part of it's that they're motivated to get out there and snare another person. But part of it is they're reconnecting with self now, 15 years after they married. And now they're free to discover who they are again. It's a discovery process. And it's an experimentation process. And maybe they've always worn their hair a certain way and they were afraid while they were married that if they changed that hairstyle, oh my God, what will my husband think? Will he still love me as much as on the day he married me? I can't really change anything because the day he married me, he really, really loved me. That's when he loved me the most. So if, God forbid, I change anything about myself, maybe I'll upset the apple cart a little bit. Fact of the matter is, maybe he's bored with the existing image. Maybe you're bored with his. People radically change when they go through divorce. It's the most fascinating thing to watch. The most fascinating. They change their whole veneer. It's extraordinary. What a phenomenon. True love. What does true love really entail? Well, first and foremost, it entails having done the very laborious and hard work it takes to come to like and respect and admire you. That's first and foremost. If you haven't done that, you're not going to be very successful in forging attachments with others. You're just not. I'm sorry to tell you this, but you're not. And if you've done that hard work, like a few of my clients have, to really get to a place with you where you dig hanging out with you, you enjoy your own company, you like and respect yourself, you really admire yourself, you've discovered you in ways you never knew you before. We've repaired the little girl or little boy inside with specific tools to get rid of your negative tape. And you've come to really like yourself. I don't care about loving yourself. Love is an abstract concept for most people. So you see on the internet, people are always yakking about loving yourself. You gotta love yourself. Most people don't know what the fuck love is. They truly don't. They don't know what it is. It's an abstract concept for them. So loving yourself is a totally abstract, it's just a bunch of words. It has no meaning. We don't know what love is. We've never experienced being really, truly, deeply loved and adored and cared about. Not in childhood, surely not in adulthood. If we didn't have it in childhood, we have no frame of reference for what real love feels like. Do we? So you've got to want to get to that place with yourself first and foremost. In effect, you're able to fall in love with yourself objectively. I'm my favorite person. I really am. This isn't egocentricity. I'm really my favorite person. I really dig Sherry Schreiber. I have a good time with her. I have a very nourishing, friendly, healthy, honest relationship with her. I've worked hard to get here. I went from suicidally depressed at 20 to here. So you know I've worked on this a long time. It's been a work in progress, but always trying to become my best friend, like myself, admire myself, respect myself. I'm not looking for somebody to share my life. I don't need somebody to share my life. I like my life the way it is. I enjoy my existence. I know how to entertain myself. I know how to have a good time with myself. If I'm in the mood, I take myself out for a date. I take myself to one of my favorite expensive restaurants and I buy myself a magnificent meal. And I schmooze with the bartender or the waiters or whatever while I'm there, because it's nice to have that contact. But I started dating myself a long time ago and enjoying it. I enjoy other people's company, but I'm very selective about who I let into my world, who I spend time with. Very, very selective. Because if I'm having a marvelous time with me, you've got to be frosting on that well-baked cake. You can't be the cake. The cake is delicious eaten alone with no topping on it. It's moist and flavorful and delicious. It doesn't need topping. And this is what I've tried to help my clients get to. So true love, real love, genuine love, can be tinged with a little bit of bittersweet sadness. It can be. I had a lot of abandonment as a child. I mean, everybody that mattered to me basically deserted me. I don't want you feeling sorry for me. I'm just giving you the facts. I decided, I'm sure at some point, to become very, very good at being alone. To enjoy that. To become excellent at it. And I have. Doesn't mean I haven't loved people. Doesn't mean I haven't wanted relationships along the way. Doesn't mean I've had no interest in being partnered. Doesn't mean that at all. Just means that if I didn't like me and hanging out with me, I probably wasn't going to really bring my best self to somebody else. Now, was I? Or would I? Well, let's skip over that. Okay. And I crack myself up, which I think is important. I have a good time with me. I amuse myself. My sense of humor is actually coming back now that I'm not working so many hours. I'm navigating this retirement thing. Hang on, got a hair. Oh, God, makes me nuts. So the ability to fall in love with yourself, not under the adoring gaze of another, but because you've done the hard work to get there, is really what enables you to deeply love somebody else and be all in with that person. And I can't honestly imagine it happening any other way. This video was inspired by a client of mine who's worked with me a while. And he called me this morning and shared some feelings with me. About having his kids home for the weekend. And he said, I don't know how to put this into words. But I've been crying. I did some crying. I feel really good. I'm so happy they're with me. But I've been crying and I don't understand it. I feel both sadness and joy. And I said, I think I understand. Tears of joy. I think I really understand that because I've lived it. In the course of my dating career, my romantic career, earlier in life. It's not to say it can't happen again, but I ain't looking for it. In the midst of my love affairs with these very, very special men that I attached to and who attached to me, I would warn them. I would say, look, there might be times when I start to cry out of the clear blue and you won't understand it and you'll get worried about it and you will try and figure out what it means. And here's what it is. It's basically tears of joy. Is that I'm feeling so close to you and so enriched by loving you and being loved by you that my heart kind of cracks open, it just expands and it cracks open and I'm filled with this joy and this spiritually rich sensation. And it's very rare. But these are happy tears. Just try and understand these are just happy tears. There's nothing for you to worry about. And I don't want you to be concerned with it. Because I am in my bliss in those moments. But these tears of joy have a tiny little bit of bittersweetness combined. Because I'm fully in the love right now in those moments. And while I'm full of joy about that, and feeling so filled up by that, and so grateful and thankful I get to feel this way, there's also a little tiny bit of bittersweetness. There's a remnant from childhood that whoever I bonded with basically left, stopped being around. People have asked me, are you a borderline? I'm sure at times I seem like one. But I know I'm not. Why do I know I'm not? And how do I know I'm not? Because in those moments of real closeness, in real spiritual richness of bonding with another, it's never made me want to run away. It's never made me want to pick a fight. It's never made me want to withdraw. It's never made me want to disappear. I tolerate that bittersweetness that comes with loving and feeling really close to you. And I've learned to endure it. It's really as simple as that. So, my darlings, if you're wanting to know, if you're these little white strands that fall across my forehead that I can see in my peripheral vision make me nuts while I'm doing this with you. Sorry about that. Maybe they're worthwhile distractions for you. Moments of levity in an otherwise very serious and profoundly deep topic. But I'm not going to edit them out because I'm not that technologically savvy yet. And even if I were, I probably wouldn't edit them out because this is the real deal. You're getting the authentic me always here. Anyone who really knows me, no matter how long they've known me, gets the real deal. I figure, look, you're either going to love me or you're going to hate me. but I'm determined to let you know me, see me for who I really am, so you can make up your own mind about it. If you don't like me, that's your prerogative. I'm not going to personalize that. It may have nothing to do with me. Maybe that I remind you of someone from a past life or this life that you really can't stand, or you carry a lot of resentment and anger toward. And I'm a trigger for you because of that unfinished business with that other person. Maybe it's your mom, maybe it's your sister, maybe it's your brother, maybe it's your father, maybe it's your uncle. It doesn't matter. You're entitled to those feelings. Don't ever edit them out. Don't ever tell yourself, I shouldn't feel that way toward this person. I barely know this person. No, you should feel that way. If you're feeling something, it's because you're supposed to be feeling it. Don't doubt those feelings. Don't try and edit them out. It's okay. We're sentient beings. We pick up on stuff, vibrations. So to truly, deeply love, you have to really like yourself first. You really do. Otherwise, you're always trying to be what you think the other person needs you to be, and that's not a relationship. That's a prison. That's incarceration. That's keeping your soul trapped in performing like you had to do when you were little to get somebody's adoration, affection, approval, love. It ain't love if you're doing that. God bless you. And goodbye for now.